Yo, it's MartydudeVR, and let's talk about the Quest 3. So, the Quest 3 is coming out in a few months, and honestly, everybody's really excited in the VR community. It's a new headset, and you know we love new headsets. But let's talk about, is the Quest 3 really worth it? And so, what I mean by worth it, is it an upgrade from the Quest 2? And so, this video we're gonna be focusing only on the Quest 2. We will talk about the Quest Pro in another video, but let's get into it. Now, honestly, before we even get deep into like the details of all the specs and stuff like that, I'm gonna be quite honest and just tell you, the Quest 3 is an upgrade over the Quest 2 in every way. And if that's the answer you were looking for, you definitely got it. But let's get into the specifics of why. First, let's start off at the actual size of the headset. So the Quest 3 is a lot slimmer than the Quest 2 because of the pancake lenses that the Quest 3 has. So that necessarily isn't a better thing. Some people like the size of the Quest 2. Some people not like how light the Quest 3 might be. But for me personally, I like lighter VR headsets. So it's kind of like a pro for me and a pro for a lot of people. But the Quest 3 is going to be a lot smaller, and the Quest 3 is going to have a lot better resolution. So they're really bumping up the display for the Quest 3. So the Quest 3 has a LCD display, with actually two LCD displays with a nearly 30% bump in resolution from the Quest 2, which is kind of crazy. So the expectation is that the official display resolution will be 4128 by 2208 pixels. That's crazy, because that's 2000 by 2000 pixels per eye, roughly. So that's a really great bump resolution, and that's what we really need from the Quest, not gonna lie. And even more, just talking on the lenses can actually be adjusted with the wheel now, kind of like the PSVR 2 or the Valve Index. So that's always been a big thing with me, especially with the Quest 2, because the Quest 2 has like the, you use your finger to kind of split the lenses apart for your IPD. Well, I like having a scroll wheel because I have a higher IPD. So that's why the Quest 2 was never comfortable for me. So that being on the Quest 3 is definitely helps me be more excited, because FOV is king to me personally for VR headsets. Being comfortable to me is always better than having, crazy resolution or, anything else. So shout out to that. Next, let's talk about the tracking for the headset. So the Quest 3 has a lot more cameras on it than the Quest 2, and they're a lot higher resolution cameras. So they also deliver full color wide dynamic range, which is really great. So that's going to open up a lot of possibilities for how you can actually move while you're playing your headset. And two, going into another topic, mixed reality. So mixed reality is going to be a crazy focus for the Quest 3, and it's going to open up a lot of possibilities for productivity, and it's honestly a lot of games. So definitely high resolution cameras and better tracking for sure than the Quest 2. Okay, so the cameras are cool now, but what about the processing power? So the Quest 3 is going to have a newer version of the Snapdragon XR2 chipset, and apparently that chipset, with its cooling, is going to allow the battery life to be a lot more efficient for the Quest 3 versus the Quest 2. So like I said before, this is an upgrade in every way, honestly. Like, there's no beating around the bush about it. It depends on how much you're trying to pay. So if you have a Quest 2 and you have an extra $449 laying around, you could definitely get a Quest 3. That's going to be an upgrade of an experience for you in every way. The main question that comes to mind, at least for me, is how much are you trying to pay for VR? And I think that's a question a lot of people should kind of ask themselves, because when we get to the $400 range for VR headsets, we're getting into mid-range VR. Because high-end VR would be like a Valve Index, being $1,000, or even like a Quest Pro being $1,000. Before we talk more about the actual pricing of the headset, let's talk about the controllers. So the Quest 3 controllers are definitely going to be more like the Quest Pro controllers, which don't have that, crazy big ring around them. I hate the ring on those VR headsets. But the Quest Pro controllers are very nice because they don't have that ring, and they're a lot easier to grip, especially if you have bigger hands like I do. We can assume that the Quest 3 controllers are going to be a very big upgrade, considering, the amount of cameras and just all the tracking they have enabled on this headset. So like I said before, it's an upgrade. The Quest 3 is an upgrade, but how much are you trying to pay? And what's your current VR situation? Are you a PC VR guy? The Quest 3 is said to have better encoding, just kind of all speculation, than the Quest 2 or even the Quest Pro. So it probably could be better for PC VR, Are you, like a sim guy? Like, what are you trying to do with your Quest 3? That's the main thing I think people should think about before they buy new VR headsets. Like, what's your purpose? In conclusion, if you're looking for an upgrade from your Quest 2, the Quest 3 is definitely where you want to go. Personally, I'll be getting one because I definitely want to kind of get rid of my Quest 2. And we also got to talk about the fact that the Quest 2 probably will be going kind of out, not out of life, but they're probably going to be focusing less on the Quest 2 at some point within the next 2 years, if less than that. You know how Meta does it? They threw the Quest 1 away kind of immediately. So if you want to kind of stay in that ecosystem of just getting certain higher quality games, I feel like at a certain point, they will say, hey, this game isn't going to be available for Quest 2. Get your Quest 3. I do feel like that's coming at some point within the next year or two. So if you want to stay with the current kind of cycle of standalone VR, definitely upgrade. It's time. And honestly, I think it's a great deal for the type of specs we're getting from this headset. It's definitely looking to be a great one. So with that being said, it's been your MartydudeVR. Make sure you check out the streams, make sure you check out the YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, man. Stay around the channel, hit the notification bell. We got a lot more content coming. Peace out.